Welcome to Maximal Being,
a podcast devoted to ditching fad diets and using real science to get you healthy and feeling great.
I'm Doc Mok, a GI and functional medicine doctor who harnesses the power of gut health to get you achieving your goals.
And I'm Jacky P, a well-informed layman who challenges the experts and asks the questions that you want.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button or leave a comment.
And now, on to the show.
What's going on, Maximal Beings? Doc Mok here with MaximalBeing.com. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment. It does help us to get the word out. If you have any questions, you can email us at team@MaximalBeing.com. Enjoy the episode.
Hello, Maximal Beings. We're back. It's Doc Mok, Jacky P, your favorite co-hosts. I'm claiming it for 2023 and into 2024. Doc
They voted.
Yeah, it's true. The people spoke. That's what the streets are saying.
Top 20 microbiome podcast, Jacky P. I mean,
that's how we do.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a big deal.
Take that, other 19.
Other 19. or maybe like the other non-top 20. I don't know how many podcasts. Probably thousands.
There's probably 20. There's probably 20 total.
There's like 21 podcasts, and it doesn't matter. We still made it, baby. It's good to be on the list.
We're above one of them. We're above one.
Well, Doc Mok, you literally look like the sun is shining on you. Literally.
Thanks.
How are you today? How you doing?
I'm doing great, Jacky P. We're winding down to the holidays. Can be a tough time as a physician. It brings out a lot of emotions in a lot of people. Stressors run high. But, I've been seeking refuge outside as I lift heavy things, and have a confession for you, Jacky P. And I hope that this is a judgment-free zone. And I hope you out there in the metaverse feel similar.
It's a safe space until I hear what you say. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Jacky P is like very into music. He is very trendy, despite the fact that he and I are both getting older, always like introducing me to new music. My favorite workout music recently, Jacky P, has been the Miley Cyrus Christmas album.
Wow. Miley Cyrus Christmas album.
I mean, there's just something about her. I don't know. She just has a certain pizzazz when she's singing "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree."
I'll be honest with you. I did not see that one coming. I don't honestly. I didn't have a expectation, but Miley Cyrus Christmas, that gets you going, lifting heavy things.
Yes, I mean, Miley, if you're listening, shoot us an email at team@maximalbeing.com and leave us a review. It does help. But maybe what I feel when I work out is your angst towards your dad, and it comes through by lifting the heavy things. So maybe that's where it comes from. I don't know. Just a theory, Jacky P.
Miley Cyrus is this now? Question: Is this a newer album? Is it like an older album from like a couple years ago?
I mean, for me, it's still newish, but like probably all the the Zoomers out there are like, Miley Cyrus is so old school.
I mean,
but I feel like we're on brand here, Jacky P. Like I'm the dorky one. So let me ask you, like, what have you been listening
what
to?
Have you listening to?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna go entrepreneur bro on this podcast because I do like to listen to like podcasts while I work out if it's like not heavy day. But today, I've been really getting into a lot of like Afro beats, so like house music. I looked at my Spotify Unwrapped. You know how that's like everyone talks about it, and basically my musical tastes are if I'm from South Africa, basically, because my favorite DJs are all from South Africa. So nice. I'm definitely not cool enough to like be part of that scene for sure, but I enjoy the music.
They'd probably be like, "Hey, Jacky, come into our spot." I don't know. I can't do a South African accent.
Is that a 1920s gangster or 1920s gangsters? Oh, wow.
Sorry, everybody out there. Sorry. I apologize in advance.
Are you a healthcare practitioner searching for a comprehensive solution to streamline your patient referrals and improve collaboration with other practitioners? Look no further than Rupa Health, the ultimate platform for integrative and functional medicine practitioners. As a healthcare practitioner, I've struggled with the traditional referral process for labs. It's time-consuming, inefficient, and often lacks the necessary communication between providers and patients. But ever since I started using Rupa Health, everything has changed. That's right, Rupa Health is revolutionizing the way that practitioners connect and order lab work with their patients. Their advanced platform allows you to effortlessly send and receive patient lab referrals and secure their information, sending them the kits directly. This makes the communication directly with other patients and practitioners easy to take care of. I can't stress enough how much time and energy Rupa Health has saved me. With just a few clicks, I can easily order lab work and track their progress, and then I receive the results directly into my inbox, which I can send to the patients automatically with recommendations. Absolutely, Rupa Health's extensive network of lab testing and curated, integrated, and functional medicine testing allows practitioners to receive the highest quality of care and dedicate their practice to a patient-centered, holistic approach which aligns perfectly with the values of healthcare in a functional medicine practice. Plus, Rupa Health provides you with excellent customer support. Their team is responsive, knowledgeable, and always helps with assistance in billing questions and how kits are shipped to your patients. They are dedicated to helping practitioners like us provide the best possible care for our patients. And if you're a patient listening, it allows you to seamlessly order your lab testing and receive all of the necessary information. Rupa Health has been a game changer for my practice, and as you know, it will be for yours too. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to save on lab testing by heading to labs.rupahealth, that's rupa.com/store/storefront_V as in Victory, G as in Grape, X 00400. That's labs.rupahealth.com/store/storefront_V as in Victory, G as in Grape, X 0040. I'll see you later, Maximal Beings.
Jacky, since the year's coming to a close, we usually reflect a little bit on ourselves, on things that we've done right and wrong in podcasts and wellness. Are you okay if I lead it off with I think something that I did wrong this year?
Oh, please
So
take it away.
we had a guest on, we aired an episode, and I thought that we really vet all of our people that we produce content for well out to all of you. But this particular episode went so far out there, and usually Jacky P and I can do a pretty good job of getting it back to the science, but it just was so crazy that I could not air it. So it would have been interesting for some of you out there, but for our mission of promoting the science, I just could not, in good conscience.
It's in the vault.
Episode.
It's in the vault.
Jacky P knows exactly the episode.
It's in the vault. That was honestly I just remember like seeing your eyes just get big every time this person just like would say a claim. I'm like, where are we right now?
Yes. And I appreciate people's like interpretation of the science, but when the science just does not exist, or you read a rat study and think it applies to all people, like you just need to edit yourself. And I think we've done a good job actually on the other side of curating the rest of the content. And a lot of our guests have done such an excellent job of just pulling it back, even if they feel so excited about something. They really do a good job of just sticking with the science because they know what our mission is here.
And we've had a lot of great guests this year as well.
We really have.
We've had some like really fun, cool people who just, they found like what their thing is and they're very passionate about it. And I really enjoy that. I just like seeing people light up, and they just, you could tell if you just like sit and listen, they could just talk about it for hours and hours, and that's really cool.
Yes. So. And I will say that for all of you that send us emails, that send us reviews, that stop me in the hallway at work about the podcast, thank you for all of the positive words that you say for both of us, because we really do feel passionate about this project, and I could not do this without Jacky P. I mean, time and time again, people say, Doc Mok, your stuff is good, but Jacky P, he's really funny. So
yeah, he's really funny.
Yeah,
he's like the dummy that talks.
You put it in terms that that people understand. And I think that that means so much. So, you know, if you ever are looking for a specific topic that we have not covered, you email us at team@maximalbeing.com and we're happy to entertain that. So
Absolutely. That's great. You know, speaking of like reflecting this year, you know, I'll talk about this is more personal, but still related to nutrition and fitness. I would say, you know, earlier this year, I think everyone knows I had hip replacement back in February. And I think, you know, inertia, you know, like I couldn't really work out well, I couldn't do stuff. And it took me a while to like get myself back together, much longer than I thought I should have, you know. And just looking back now that I'm back in the gym and like being more consistent and definitely not listening to Miley Cyrus, but hey, you know what? I got to put it on there.
Definitely not.
You know, I'm actually going to put it on because my wife has been playing holiday music since before Thanksgiving. And honestly, I would probably welcome like songs I haven't heard 20 times already. So
there's some good new music. I gotta say, you know, Elton John did a new good one. Sia's got some good stuff. Anyway, but probably showing my age again.
Elton John. Yeah, man, he's good. It's good music. So I call music right there.
You know.
But I think what I failed that turned into an opportunity because I looked one day, I went to a checkup. It was actually my 6-month follow-up appointment for my hip replacement. And it was back in middle of the summer. And I stepped on the scale and I saw a number that I've never seen myself personally. And I'm not a big person. I think we promote like, you know, it's not about weight. Weight doesn't, you know, that number doesn't mean anything. But for me, I know that like I had some inventory. I was like, you know what, Jackie, you've been kind of using this injury as an excuse to like just not do what you should be doing. And I'm a little bit of aggressive and I'm over the top with the things I do, but I literally I got a lockbox for all the snacks in the house. I told my wife, listen, you lock it up. There's a code. I don't want to know it. Like when Quinn had Halloween candy, put it in there, any snacks, whatever. I don't even want the option. You know, I got myself together and, you know, I started feeling like myself again and working out and stuff. So the worst thing I feel like the biggest mistake of the year for me led to like really a good overcorrection. And I'm very happy with what I've been doing since.
I mean, Jackie P, you know, it's interesting that you use the word mistake because I feel like, you know, this is your need for a hip surgery isn't something that you did wrong. And it's very common for people to gain weight because you can't move, right? And that's what burns those calories. So, you know, you just happen to have this condition and your joints just have issues over time. I mean, that's just kind of the way that it goes. And I mean, kudos to you for being self-motivated. I mean, when you and I first met, Cinnamon Toast Crunch was kind of
oh man, I miss Cinnamon Toast Crunch so much.
And I mean, it's easier for me, somebody that has held you accountable in the past, and you hold me accountable too, to see that and see the big difference from when I first met you to now where you are, where within a few months from a major surgery, you're able to jump back in and get back to squatting, which is amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And, you know, thank you, but also not thank you for educating me on how terrible Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Well, I guess any cereal really. But man, I miss it.
And we have nothing against them. They don't promote us. We're not, you know,
we're not hating it is still the best cereal ever. It is. But it's, you know, it's a sometimes very, very rare. Sparingly.
No, it's carrot free.
It's carrot free. It's carrot free.
Philosophical carrot.
Philosophical carrots, carrot. Big carrot. They're still out there, so we got to be careful.
Big carrot. You got to watch out, ladies and gentlemen. Coming back 2024.
Looking back over the year, Doc Mok, we've had some, I'd say, interesting health, medical field, you know, I say breakthroughs, innovations. I thought it'd be fun to reflect on them and talk about them a little bit. So I'm going to say 3 things, and then you choose which one, just like Shamagram. So I'm going to say, and you might know what I mean when I say it, but this will still be fun. So I'm going to say SUDAFED, CRISPR, or Viking. Which one would you like to unpack? first.
So just because we were talking about your journey, I think we should start with a marvelous revolution in the medical universe, which is this CRISPR technology. And that's without the E, if you're going to search it out there. You can find reputable websites that review this, including the FDA, that is in the process of working on this technology. And Jacky P, for those people out there that haven't looked at the science, so this is a novel gene technology that works for sickle cell disease. And those of you that, so we've had a guest, Dr. Doug Beach, who's a hematologist, oncologist at University of Pennsylvania very early on. He'll know what we're talking about, but sickle cell disease is a condition that originally developed as actually an advantageous evolutionary advantage in Africa because of malaria. Malaria lives in our red blood cells. And so people over time, at least this is the theory, developed sickle cell disease as a means where malaria cannot attach onto red blood cells, and therefore you cannot be infected with it and have all of the tough consequences. However, these sickle cells are shaped differently than a traditional red blood cell, right? The main job of a red blood cell that looks like a life raft is to fill up with oxygen, go to a tissue, dump all the oxygen off, say, hey, what garbage do you have? Put all the carbon dioxide and stuff and deliver it out of the body, and we exhale it out. That is the main job. And so when something is not life raft shaped, you can't pile as much oxygen or carbon dioxide on it. So oxygen exchange can be tough. And these sickle cells also don't fit as well through the blood vessels, so they can bunch stuff up and cause damage to different tissues. And Jacky P, I mean, I probably know less about this than you do, I think. But, you know, I think that we don't have any treatments for this.
No, not really.
No, like the treatments are fluids, pain medicine, and then there are a few other conditions that are severe that we do have treatments for, like acute chest syndrome and priapism and some of the other cardiovascular things that can happen. But it's all supportive care. It's not specific to sickle cell. And then there's also certain medicines that have effects kind of for sickle cell, but not really, like hydroxyurea, right?
Yeah.
Or getting your spleen removed because they kind of gunk up in that area. So this is a big deal.
It's major. It's a big deal. I mean, of course, it's like there's much more to be done, right? Because the treatment is like, I forget, $2.2 million. And, you know, I would say I'm very grateful that I am what one would consider a milder case. And yes, I've had hip replacement. Yes, I've had all tons of stuff, but I know folks that have had a much more severe case of sickle cell and a much more severe experience with it. And, this development it means a lot. I mean, to me as well, but to a lot of those folks who are in the emergency room almost regularly, weekly, right? Or they just have much more severe problems. So it's really cool. I think we have a long way to go, but I just think this is just a very good, hopeful, positive sign that, we're getting closer to having this being managed and having, also I think awareness is very big. Awareness and education is vital. Because there's many a times I've been out of town and I've gotten sick, I've gotten in crisis, and folks at the ER like basically asking me what to do because they've never really had to take care of someone with sickle cell. So really awesome. I'm very excited. So we'll see how that develops, right?
Yeah. I mean, as of now, the data is compelling. I mean, I don't want people to think that this is like a pill you can just go out and get. I mean, it is a big deal. It's similar to a bone marrow transplant.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Doc Mok, but it's definitely, it's not like a shot or something. I mean, you got to go on chemo for a few months. You're in the hospital for a long time. They take bone marrow from you, and then you basically get bone marrow. So it's a very tough, long procedure. It's definitely not just like, hey, you take this pill every morning. for a few weeks. So it's definitely, but it's still a good thing, because there's some people that even going through that is probably worth it than having the lifelong chronic issues of sickle cell.
Yeah. And I mean, of the two major prospective trials, the success rates range anywhere from 88 to 93%, which is pretty good in terms of graft on graft, adherence. The most common side effects are changes in your blood counts and some GI side effects. And one black box warning that they're creating is that there were a couple of cases of people that developed hematologic cancer, so blood cancers, as a result of this therapy. So it's not without risk, and we're still early on, but finally something. And Jacky, not to get political, and I'm a white man, right? But this is a condition that affects people of African descent, and why there hasn't been advances in this, I don't know, but I just wanted to throw that out there to the audience as a thought-provoking comment.
Yeah, I'll say it. I'm a black man. I'll say it. I think if this affected more widespread populations, it would be more looked at. But guess what? We can't change that. We can't change what's happened. But what we can do is just be hopeful about the future and spread awareness and education. And and also shout out to all the fellow sickle cell warriors out there who just secretly battling sickle cell and also just living day-to-day life and just function in society. Because it is not, sometimes it's not as fun as I make it sound. I don't think I make it sound fun, but I make it sound pretty easy. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be pretty brutal, for sure.
All right. You got anything to add? I was going to move on to the other two. You got something?
Okay. No, I think that this is really, really encouraging and amazing. And I would, if you're a hematologist listening out there, I would love to hear your comments. Email us at team@maximalbeing.com.
Yeah. Hit us up. All right. So we've got SUDAFED or Viking.
I'm going to go Viking first.
Viking. Okay.
I'm a little Viking centric. I mean,
Viking.
I have some Viking blood in me,
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Is that why your calves are so big?
But yeah, maybe. We have this interesting. We have an interesting archaeologic evolutionary mutation in us, as with Viking blood, is something called Dupuytren's contracture. I don't have it. My fingers do this, but if you ever see somebody whose fingers are kind of stuck like this, that's called Dupuytren's contracture. Number of people in my family have it, and it's a evolutionary advantage that people of Viking origin got for rowing the boats. So their hands would kind of form into these like hook-like things, so they could hold the oars a little bit better. So
holy moly,
interesting,
man! Vikings just wild, just like, I mean, we could talk about that forever, but Viking dentistry. Let's talk about Viking dentistry.
So this article I'm not a dentist. I know a lot of dentists. I don't have anything against dentists. I actually like going to the dentist. I've never had a cavity, Jacky P.
Wow,
whole life.
You are such a specimen. You are such a specimen. You should be studied, Doc Mok.
I mean, I'm just, this is all mom and dad. I was a weird kid. I hated soda. Like, what kid do you know that doesn't want to just gobble sugar and soda down? Right?
You're just peak human form. Look at you.
I don't know about that.
Your body just naturally rejects junk.
Yeah, I had something right, and I have a good microbiome. That it's been shown that your diet impacts your microbiome in your mouth, which can cause cavities to form, but it's not just the sugar directly corroding on your dental enamel. So it's the changes in your microbiome, and some of that is what you're born with. But this article from Plus One that was just published out of the University of Gothenburg, in which they archaeologically discovered about 3,000 teeth from about 171 individuals of Viking ancestry. And what they found in these skeletons was early evidence of Viking intervention for cavities. Things like filling the cavity with certain materials that were made of metals and also filing down teeth to get rid of the the dent within them, to get rid of the
Whoa.
cavity. And so this is kind of an interesting discovery in the fact that dentistry is a relatively new invention in our country, but it seems like, like all things in the world, there are really no original ideas, and that the Vikings were working on. So intriguing, I thought.
That's pretty cool.
If
Also,
you're,
like, what?
I
Like,
know,
the Vikings?
I know. So if you're driving a car, don't stop and read this right now, because
Yeah.
you're driving a car. I'm talking to you
Yeah.
Floridians.
Yeah.
But if you're sitting in your office giggling away at our silliness, please pick up this article. It's an interesting read. And it's in PLOS ONE, which is
I'm
a great medical journal.
I'm just baffled that, like, I mean, the Vikings are a very interesting and unique culture in a lot of different ways.
Yes.
And I would say probably a lot of it's probably media portrayal that, like, they're seen to be like barbaric, right? I'm gonna go and like rape and pillage it, everyone, and like, but like they're like having dental procedures, and
I know, that's
and
totally
have like
wild,
good
right?
dental hygiene,
It's wild. And nobody thinks of that. They think of like them pillaging and plunging, like you were mentioning, right?
And no and like, no painkillers, right? They're not putting each other under. So there's just grating each other's teeth down wide awake with no numbing agents, no Novocaine. Wow,
On the same,
Vikings.
yeah. We talked a little bit about how the microbiome is, some are inherited by your mother. And Jackie, this was just another article that I found that was interesting in the British Medical Journal of Biology, where they actually discovered that not only does the birthing process impact the microbiome of babies, but a mother's microbiome, gut microbiome, and the things that she produces from that microbiome actually can positively or negatively impact the development of that fetus.
Whoa.
Which is pretty interesting. I mean, stop me if I'm wrong, universe out there, but this really has not been discussed previously. And this is a new article published in November of this year outlining this principle, which has tremendous impact, right? Like, we've talked about pregnancy on the show before with Stephanie Walker and a few other experts. And sometimes the baby just overruns all of the stuff that you're going to eat for a long time. I know it did in our household. But what are the implications of that in a kid? Like, kids turn out fine most of the time, but you just wonder, like, maybe it's the fetus saying, like, hey, microbiome, like, I need some more of this stuff. I need more carbs, whatever. So it's really interesting.
That is interesting. I tell you, the microbiome is just wildly it's like everything. It's like the beginning and end of everything health, It's like, oh, you're not sleeping well? It's like, let's check your microbiome. Like, what are you eating?
I know, seriously. Yeah, totally. And it's like been around for trillions of years, Jackie. Like,
wow.
And we just now have the ability to study it, and it's just now getting the respect.
Yeah.
Like, when I was in medical school, it's kind of like, people can test it, but not really, and we don't really know much. But this one's bad, and that one's good.
Yeah,
that's it. But we've made big strides.
Big strides. Shout out to the microbiome. Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop.
All right. So the last one, SUDAFED. So basically, I don't remember how long ago this was. I want to say maybe early fall, September-ish. But basically, the FDA came out and said SUDAFED doesn't work. Or I guess I should say SUDAFED. I don't want to say the brand, but basically, the main decongestant. I don't even know how to pronounce this. Phenylephrine.
Yeah, you nailed
phenylephrine.
it. Yeah,
I'm so smart.
So smart. Wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
So yeah, what's that all about? SUDAFED, like, I guess it's the active ingredient in SUDAFED, Tylenol, and NyQuil, and it's ineffective when taken orally.
Yeah, it's interesting that so it's interesting that the way that people behave with scientific literature is that they often will forget things in the past and latch on to things that are new.
Mm.
That happened in my world with treating GI bleeding. People all of a sudden started to think that just giving a pill form acid blocker twice a day will stop a catastrophic bleed. Well, it turns out all of the data before this garbage paper that came out a few years ago showed that that don't work. So it doesn't work. And a lot of the data that the FDA based their rulings on, I mean, I'm looking at a paper right now from the Annals of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology that was from 2009. And what they did is they combined the data from a lot of these studies and they analyze them. So they look at the things that are good, the things that are bad. And these studies are all randomized, placebo-controlled, three-way crossover trials. What does that mean in English? So people enter a trial and they're randomly assigned. So a number generator, a computer spits out you're in this group and you get the pill, the phenylephrine, this pill, and you get a sugar pill. And the person giving it, the physician or healthcare provider, doesn't know which group they're in, and the patient doesn't know what group they're in, and the person physically handing it to them doesn't know. And then they look at the outcomes, but the researchers know. And so they get the data, they don't know which patient is which, but they know that in this group, these are the outcomes, and in this group, these are the outcomes. And what this does is it eliminates you saying, I got the pill, so it's working. There's a certain percentage of sugar pills that will have some effect. And that's in fact what these randomized trials showed, is that during the time period that was studied, they're no different than sugar pills in alleviating symptoms of allergy, nasal congestion, etc., which is just wild.
Yeah. Well, crap.
With some side effects. I mean, it's an amphetamine, Jacky P.
Yeah.
It is an amphetamine. It is a drug that people use. Like, you can have heart problems. There are sleep issues. Like, it's a big deal.
Yeah. It's just, so, I don't know. It just, and also, by the way, I don't know, I haven't paid that close attention. I was assuming that I was going to see like nothing on the walls in CVS and Walgreens and Rite Aid. And like, they're still all there. Like, they're still selling it.
Yep. The first hit I got when I was preparing for this is an advertisement from a pharmacy about the medicine.
You want some overpriced sugar pills?
I know. Oh boy. Man. God bless America.
Yeah. And everyone in it. And everyone in it. That's great. Well, I can't wait to see what's going to discover next year, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone knows this. I don't know if you know this, Dr. Mok, but my favorite holiday is actually New Year's. It's my favorite holiday.
Really? I didn't know that.
It's
Why?
just so a myriad of reasons. Great question, Doc.
Yes.
One, I think it's the most neutral celebration across all cultures. It may not be the same day across all cultures,
yes,
but everyone can really get around the feeling of renewal, rejuvenation, and like resetting. And some folks need that externally, right? And I really like it. There's like this hopefulness about it. So it's always been like my favorite holiday. I think we should talk about goals, right? It's the end of the year. Big people plan for the beginning of the year. And it's one of those things, right? Everyone always, I forgot what the statistic is, but there's like 40% of people drop their New Year's resolutions by like the third week of January. I don't know if those numbers are correct. I'm just making it up, but basically it's very, very fast. So as we get into the holiday season, I mean, Hanukkah we're by the time you hear this, Hanukkah will be over. Yeah. Yep. So we're recording on last night Hanukkah, but we're still going to be in the holiday season. I was thinking, Doc Mok, we could break down some tips for folks who are just trying to navigate the whole holiday season and also setting up those goals for 2024.
Yeah.
So for you, right? Hanukkah, right? Last night Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah, right?
Thank you. Happy
to my
Hanukkah,
folks,
everybody.
Folks out there that celebrate.
Yep.
So like what do you do personally, Doc, that, it's holiday season, there's going to be eggnog, I love eggnog. There's eggnog everywhere, cookies, treats. You can't go anywhere without a bowl of candy out. So, I mean, besides your just peak human form and just being able to turn off the button and just say, no, not for me. But what would a normal person, a layman do, to really, one, enjoy themselves, but also not go too far into the dark zone of Cookie Monster like I've done sometimes.
Yeah, Jackie P, I think I've had this discussion 10 times today with different patients that I saw. Because a lot of them, come and see me for specific reasons, right? They want the Doc Mok prescription of
Yeah.
wellness and health. Most of the people that I see, or they're in some dire medical condition that and then we're just trying to fix that. But for the people that I counsel on, I saw a number of them today, and they were telling me I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm doing this. But it's the holiday, and I got chocolate for a gift, and at the end of the night, I just want to have some chocolate. Is that okay? And I was like, oh my God, of course it's okay. And so I think very early on with RN Graham, we talked about that like 80-20 rule that all of you that have gone through any sort of diet program or like a major dietary change know that having the cheat day or the cheat meal is really beneficial to your success long term. And so I think first and foremost is just give yourself a break during the holiday. Just be nice to yourself. Don't dig such a deep hole, don't drink 12 beers a day and only eat cookies for every meal. But do that 80-20. Be on during the work week before the holiday, and then just enjoy the holiday with your family and pick back up and keep it moving, because psychologically it works. The science says that approach works, and personally it has always worked for me. Thoughts about that, Jackie P?
Doc Mok, you're just so eloquent. Just man, I love you.
I get it from you. I mean, I take notes like Jackie P said
It's
that. Okay.
I think that's like a really great way to put it. Because it's true. We're today alone between just, I mean, my house is full of stuff. Quinn been baking cupcakes and cookies and all that stuff. And then in the lobby of my building, they're having breakfast out, or continental breakfast. So it's all donuts and treats and coffee and all this stuff. And yeah, I sometimes I say, hey, I try to say no as much as I can.
Yep.
But when I say yes, I'm okay with it.
Yep.
So I said I kind of held it together all day, pretty much. But then my business partner bought these like these frosted gingerbread cookies, and I love me some gingerbread. And I was like, you know what?
Delicious.
And I was
And you
like, you know
can
what?
build with it. How cool
Oh
is
my,
that?
it's so good. It's
Yeah.
so good. And I had my little coffee, my little black coffee. So like the bitterness and the sweetness, I had myself a moment. I'll be honest, I had a moment.
Yeah.
And I was very happy that I held my no I held out long enough that when I got to the gingerbread cookies, I felt guilt-free, because I was like, I didn't have the muffins and cookies and stuff that were in the house, and I didn't have the free donuts and cookies that were in the lobby. But then I got that because like, oh, what? This is something I don't see all the time, and this is really good, because all the other stuff are run of the mill. So giving yourself grace, I think, really goes a long way as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
if I had another tip, Jackie P, it's that be strategic about the way that your plate looks when you do indulge. And what I mean by that is, have your roast goose or whatever. I don't know who cooks goose anymore.
It's a rich, smoky meat.
It's apparently really hard to cook too. It's like,
really?
Yeah, apparently it takes forever. The fat content is where I've never tried to cook one, but apparently it's very difficult. But so have your roast goose, have your, whatever mac and cheese or whatever you're gonna do, and then just be aware, like make half your plate vegetables. Just fill it up with vegetables. And then you're balancing the bad with the good. Even on your plate, you're getting that 80-20 on your plate too.
Yeah. Those are great tips.
Are you looking for high-quality, evidence-based supplements to support your functional medicine practice? Look no further than FullScript, the leading platform for healthcare practitioners to prescribe and order professional-grade supplements. As a functional medicine and gastroenterology doctor, I trust FullScript to provide me with a wide range of high-quality supplements that meet specific needs of my patients. Their extensive product catalog includes trusted brands, ensuring that I have access to the best options for my patients' health. That's right, FullScript offers a comprehensive selection of supplements, including vitamins, minerals, botanicals, and specialty formulations, all sourced from reputable manufacturers. Plus, their rigorous quality control ensures that you're getting products that meet the highest quality standards of purity and potency. And what I love most about FullScript is the convenience it offers. With their user-friendly online platform, I can easily browse, prescribe, and manage supplement protocols for my patients. It saves me valuable time and streamlines the ordering process. Absolutely, FullScript makes it easy to create customized protocols for your patients and track their progress. Plus, they handle all the logistics from inventory management to shipping, so you can focus on what matters most, providing excellent care to your patients. So if you're ready to take your functional medicine practice or wellness to the next level, visit us.fullscript.com/welcome/maximalbeing. That's us.fullscript.com/welcome/maximalbeing to receive your 15% discount on customized supplements and check Maximal Being standardized protocols for gut health. FullScript has been a game changer for my practice, and I know it will be for yours. Don't miss out on this incredible resource for functional medicine practitioners and patients alike today.
All right, let's talk about goal setting.
Yeah.
Right. So of course, the most common goal is always losing weight or get in shape. If you're me, every year I call it super sexy summer, and like I gotta get my super sexy summer body. So I have my brain have a couple common pitfalls just from my own history, but like, what are you seeing with the folks you speak with? I know you do a lot of plans for folks. So how would you caution folks when they do sit down and they put their goals out for 2024? What would you kind of think people should be doing out there?
Yes, I think personalize your approach, and whoever you're getting your approach from, they should be really aware of how to personalize that based on, your ancestry, your genetics, your individual biochemistry, your comorbid health conditions, and then just what fits into your life. If you can't have dairy, you can't eat big blocks of cheese in a keto diet all the time. So I think that individualizing your dietary approach is very important for success. And I also think it's important to meet yourself where you are. So if all you drink is soda and all you do is drop the soda, that is very powerful and you will see the change. But then when you get to Jacky P level and you got to dial it in, it gets hard, but the initial big jumps are just about the small changes. And really, once you do those small, easy changes, you may come to a point that you feel happier about.
That's a great point about the happiness part.
I also, Jacky P, obesity is not one size fits all. There is obesity that occurs from metabolic conditions like insulin resistance or diabetes. There are hormonal obesities, and having your doctor or you or your coach or whoever do biometric testing or measurements or impedance monitoring for fat percentage, and being able to use that data to figure out which of those sub boxes you fit into may get you a better bang for your buck out of your wellness. So Jacky P, I'll give you an example. In my own journey, I was doing really well. And then that last little percentage, I just had some resistant fat tissue. And so in my reading, I thought maybe there's something toxin related, because toxins, environmental toxins, can live in fat cells and can make fat cells resistant to the fat breakdown signals. And so unless you get rid of those toxins, and I'm not talking about some wacky woo-woo like green juice, then you won't have any advancements in your fat loss. And so what I did was a detoxification protocol that is based on science and nothing too crazy and very safe. And I saw a lot of improvements.
Wow.
And it's
awesome.
And it's weird, Jacky, that you feel when you're releasing these they're POPs, they're like persistent organic pollutants are the terminology. When you release them from fat cells, you feel it almost like you feel a certain like dizziness or wooziness when that's occurring at that time. And it can last for a few days while you're burning those fat cells, but you know that that's kind of a sign that you're doing that.
That's incredible. Well, I mean, of course, because you're wicked smart with that big old brain of yours, you'd figure that out. But that's something new to me. I didn't even know that was something that folks should be. I don't know how widespread that is. If that's something that's common or not, but that's very interesting.
Environmental toxins do, I think, a lot more than we think, and it's often like detox protocols are like very money-making like sort of things for people in the health world with like no research behind them. But if you test, we use a urine test in my practice, and then institute the protocol, and then just do certain things like make sure stuff is getting out of your body, right? Don't put bad stuff in, get bad stuff out, right? So sweat, urinate, and make sure you're pooping. And if you stimulate those things and then the other inherent pathways, you'll have success. But yeah, a lot of people don't think about that, Jack P.
That's good. What are they called? POPs?
POPs, yeah. Persistent organic pollutants.
Wow.
They live in fat cells. Yeah.
Learn something new every day. I mean, with you, I learn something new every 5 minutes, but
I mean, I feel the same, Jack P.
Yeah. And for me, I think from a goal setting perspective, right? Not even when it comes to your health and nutrition goals. One thing I learned, so I read a book last year called Atomic Habits. If you haven't read it, it's a fantastic book by James Clear. And basically, like if you boil it down to like one sentence, was like making your goals habits, right? So instead of saying, yeah, I want to like work out and like get really strong, like make your goals like, oh yeah, I just want to make sure like I'm moving my body 3 or 4 times a week, right? I want to make sure that I'm going to the gym, right? Or like for me personally, I wanted to read more, and instead of saying, hey, I'm going to read a book a month, it was like, yeah, I'm just going to read 10 pages a day, and the math adds up, and no big deal, I'm way ahead of that. But it's like the habit itself is what ended up really put it in those good, just hitting those goals in somewhat. And I would say, back to what I mentioned earlier on this podcast about like weight and choosing pounds, and the pounds don't really mean anything, because even when I started getting myself together, and the weight started going down, but then I felt like it started to plateau, and I started to get a little bit frustrated. But then like I took some more inventory, and I looked down, I was like, my legs are like solid steel. Okay. I felt great. Quinn is 52 pounds. I throw him around like a rag doll. Like I was like I felt much, much better than I did when I stepped on that scale many months prior. So, focus on like how you feel, and then focus on setting goals to be, hey, I want to feel better. I want to feel more energy. I want to sleep better, right, guys? I don't know why. I don't know what people have against sleep. I don't know what it is.
Nobody is sleeping. They're not
sleep
doing
is
it.
Awesome. Like sleep is so great.
I mean, it's so important. Like, there's no point in going to the gym if you're not sleeping well. There's really there's just no point.
Yeah. Yeah. Sleep, hydrate, eat good food, whole foods, laugh a little.
I had kind of an epiphany while you're talking, and I think it's our philosophy, but just putting it like succinctly, like I believe when you're starting off to drop some of the standard metrics that people use to judge success with fat loss or weight loss. So drop the weight. Don't look at the scale. Be nice to yourself there. And just use that like Jacky P, like, I feel really good, you know?
Yeah.
And as like the barometer. And when you re-challenge yourself with garbage food, that's when you're really going to feel the difference. Like if you go from eating clean to eating garbage, you will feel the difference. And just think in that moment, I used to feel this way every single day, and I didn't know it. But on the other side, Jacky P, I think when you're getting used to a meal program or meal prepping or making food in advance for yourself, I do think that being more objective, at least for a little bit, will help. And that could involve tracking, it can be weighing and measuring. And I think, Jacky P, you're at the point now where you can probably eyeball like a big pile of turkey and know how many pounds of turkey that is, right? Or how many cups it is.
Yeah.
And so it just trains your brain to be able to judge the food, and eventually you'll be able to drop that habit. But in the beginning, it's just like any skill. You just need to dial it in for a little bit, train your brain, and then you can let it go.
Yeah. Oh, also, I forgot to mention this. I totally cut my caffeine intake by like a fraction.
Wow.
Like really. And I don't want to brag. I'm a great sleeper. But I was just drinking too much coffee because I really enjoy coffee.
Yeah, me too. I love coffee.
It just, I like the taste of it, like coffee flavored things I started liking as well.
So good. Yeah.
I literally just switched my morning coffee in the house to decaf.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't change my day. And I know decaf has caffeine in it, but
yeah,
I still get like, a little bit less. I just like that because it's the only thing I drink outside of water. So but same thing, it was just
half-calf.
Oh, half-calf, nice. I should look into that.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's great. That's a big change. That's really excellent for your vessels there, your cardiovascular system.
Thank you.
But 2 cups of coffee a day does have some cancer prevention properties. I mean, it's not
true,
great quality data. It's like anecdotal, but it's interesting nonetheless. And it certainly is delicious.
Yeah. And also coffee, like just regular coffee. Like I put a splash of 2% milk in there. I'm not having these mocha sugar, a splash of coffee with your sugar. So they're not talking about those stuff, guys. They're talking more about, hey, just straight up black coffee, maybe a little bit of cream or milk, whatever you take, or soy milk. But yeah,
I drink it black. I think it's like you just love the taste. You taste the coffee more, but I use the other end of the spectrum as like my barometer for sugar intake when I'm talking to people that 1 frappuccino equals 2 days worth of sugar.
Yeah.
I mean, and people are just, let me get the next one,
And it's like, the first thing they have in the morning.
Yeah. I mean,
it's the first thing you have in the morning.
That's a tough hole to dig out of. So I do a lot of just coffee management. And also the holidays are a big time for GI conditions to flare up because of all the stuff where you're yelling at your parents because they didn't get your kid the right Christmas present or whatever, where they didn't bring the right goose stuffing.
Goose stuffing.
Worked on. And so, sometimes it's just a matter of skipping that peppermint mocha to make your GI conditions really. And actually, I did find another study that this was in the Boston area where they found that of the people that were queried that had traveled in or outside of town during the holidays, they found that over 64% of the people studied developed some sort of GI symptom that was not there before, just during the holiday time. So, I think for those of you that are calling me when I'm on call for, Christmas this year, just be aware that you're probably, probably not my patients, but some of you may be doing this to your GI doctor by eating all that stuff. So just be aware. Be nice to your
Be
geriatric.
everywhere. and yeah, be nice to your geriatric for sure.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about the goose thing again, because he keeps saying goose. It keeps reminding me of something. And now I've remembered, I just looked it up, the episode of The Office when Dwight brings a goose into the office. And he's, that is all I'm trying to remember. He's like, it's a rich, smoky meat. And you save yourself a trip to the store for groceries.
Yeah, if you need a break from the holiday woes, just go watch The Office for a little bit.
Yeah,
and
I'm
for you
definitely...
Zoomers, it's this old show that they're going to remake soon. You know they're remaking it? Did you know that?
No, really?
Yeah, they're remaking it. They're going to remake it soon, but the old one is very, very good. The English one not as good as the American one.
Yeah, I definitely think.
Sorry for our listeners in the UK. I know there's a lot of you out there also.
Listen, I gave them credit because they set up the blueprint. They laid the foundation, and it was a good show. I enjoyed it too until the remake happened. Yeah. And I guess our reaction was what everyone's reaction when they thought they were making a remake. But now, I don't know, in 2023, 2024 world, I can't imagine a remake being better, because that show definitely would not have survived in today's environment.
No.
So Michael Scott would have...
Diversity Day, episode 2, I think.
The second episode, it would have been done.
Canceled. Immediately canceled.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, Doc Mok.
Yeah. It's great. It's always great to chat with you.
You're just the best. Never change.
Yeah. I know Santa's going to be good to you this year.
I hope so. I hope so.
And I believe.
Yeah, I believe.
No call for Jacky P this year.
Thank you. I'm hoping. We don't have a fireplace, so he's probably just had to come in through our roof deck, which is cool. We don't usually keep that door locked anyway because it's on the roof, so just walk in.
2023 was a really good year for Jacky P's family. I mean, Jacky P is an entrepreneur. His wife wrote a book this year. I mean, just amazing things coming from that power couple. So sending love and joy to all of you and Jacky P and your family and all of you out there listening. Really appreciate you listening to the show.
Yes. Thank you all for listening to us laugh at our own jokes. Thank you for another year of listening to, Doc Mok just like black out and go straight nerd for like 2 minutes straight. It's great. And we appreciate you all. Have a wonderful holiday.
Yes.
Have a wonderful new year.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in 2024.
That's right. For those of you who have not done so already, go ahead and leave us a comment and subscribe. We created a mini course on our website that you can sign up for free. And there are all kinds of holiday goodies that are being given out as you're receiving these little nuggets of gut health truth from me, including something very special at the end. And I've worked very hard to curate this content to be digestible for you, pun intended. So check it out, sign up for it. It's free.
Nice.
We appreciate you all. And as always, I'm Doc Mok here at Jacky P, and we are here to maximize your health.
The content included is not intended to be used as medical advice, and viewers should consult their physician or healthcare provider should they have additional questions. The viewers should not rely on information contained in these presentations for immediate or urgent medical needs. Additionally, if you think you have a medical emergency, call your physician or go to the emergency department or call 911 immediately. Never disregard professional medical advice or rely on seeking medical care or delay medical care due to information contained in this presentation. What's going on, Maximal Beings? Doc Mok here. If you haven't done so already, leave us a comment and hit the subscribe button. Let your friends and family know. That way we can get the word out and continue to bash the bro science.